Hello, everyone. Guess what day it is? It is Thanksgiving Thursday. Yes, and here you are on another episode of the Question Live Show with your host, Verona Willis-Brown. Yes, we are rolling into April. I said October, right? No, we are rolling into April, and we are rolling into April really good and dandy. Whew. We have a show tonight for you. Yes, we do. We have a show for you tonight, like what we do every single Thursday night. We have a show especially for you. So if you're ready, then we are ready because this is what we do on Thursday. It is Thanksgiving Thursday. So what is it that you are giving thanks for? Me, I give thanks just to be here with you another Thursday night. I love it. I get excited when it's Thursday because I look forward to be here showing up for you or you showing up for yourself. So I just get so excited to come in with you every single time. I anticipate Thursdays. So, enough about me. Let me stop talking. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If this is not your first time tuning in, welcome back. Welcome back. YouTube land, welcome. Facebook land, welcome. Now, for those who are newbies, if this is your very first time, type in the chat that this is your first time. Because we do have house rules here. Absolutely. We have rules here. We put rules. We have like 1, 2, 3, probably 3 or 4 rules we have here. So now, if you're not new, then you know these by heart. You should know them by heart. First rule is, if you're looking up there on the top, you see that word that says live in that little red rectangle? Simply means you are in the live audience. Correct. And what do you do when you're in the live audience? You share. You share and you invite someone to come in the live audience with you so we could all be together at the same time. Because if they do watch this and they don't see live, they're going to be watching the replay. But we like the live audience. That's 1. 2, grab yourself a pen, grab yourself a notebook, or even a sticky pad. Who knows? A sticky pad. Or just a note, or just a piece of paper. Why would I say that? Because here we drop golden nuggets and juicy contents right here on this show. And I would like for you to write them down. When you write them down, you have your notes to read over. Yes, I do come every week with my notebook and I'm ready to take notes. So we drop juicy contents here. So I want you to write them down. And 3, get yourself something to drink. I don't know what you drink. Maybe you drink water, wine. Water can turn into wine, whatever the case is. Water, wine, tea, soda, juice. I don't know, whatever is it that you drink, please, by all means, get it ready. Why? I do have mine. Yeah, I do have mine ready. Why would I tell you to get something to drink? Because I'm going to be doing the talking. My guest is going to be doing the talking, but I need you to drink on our behalf. I might take a sip of my water every now and then. But the main thing is that we should drink and hydrate our body. So even though I suggest for you to drink whatever you have to drink, the point is hydrate your body and just drink on our behalf. That too. So that's the 3 rules, 3 plus 1, 1, 1, whatever it is. Those are the rules for the show. Now, if you are ready, then we are ready to roll into our episode of tonight, right here on the Question Live Show. So if you're ready, type in the comment that you are ready so we can get started, and you don't have to be hearing my voice only, because we have a show for tonight, and I want you to hear the guest that's coming up. I want you to be involved in the audience. I want you to have your question ready, because this is what we do. The show, of course, is called The Question. Have your question ready. Be involved. You never know what will happen when you are involved. So if you're ready, then we're ready to roll into tonight's episode as I bring to you my guest for tonight, my lovely sister, Miko. Miko. Hi, darling.
Hi, how are you? Like, oh, and I've got my things too. I got my notebook. I shared it, and I got my water.
Listen, see, the guest is prepared. She got all of her things ready. So, get audience, if you don't, this is your opportunity. This is your time to go get all your stuff, gather your stuff before we start the conversation. And go to the bathroom and come back. So let us stress rule number 1. Up there, it says live. Share. I just said share 3 times. Simply means you're supposed to be sharing to 3 people. Invite 3 people here. So Mika, darling, Mika, I always ask my first guest, there's one little question that I jot right in there before we roll into everything. And that is, how are you doing truthfully?
I'm good. Got a lot of things that are coming up in a short amount of time, but I'm good. I'm excited about them.
Oh,
I'm excited about them.
So yes. I'm excited for you because, like, yay. You're excited. I'm excited. We're excited together. And that is the thing. I want to celebrate you on whatever is coming to expand you, whatever is coming to add positivity to you, whatever is coming to enlarge your territory. I want to celebrate you. Yeah. I want to celebrate you on your book that we are going to be rolled right into tonight. Yes. So listen up, audience. Miko, tell us where you're tuning in from and give us a little snippet of who you are.
Okay. So I am from Hampton Roads, Virginia, affectionately known as the 757. I write nonfiction and children's stories under Miko Marsh. I also write spoken word poetry and contemporary fiction under Abilia. So combined, I have about 20 titles. In addition to that, I am a revisions editor with Hybrid Press. I am a narrator. I'm an audio describer. So I provide narration for blind and visually impaired guests. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah. So writing, all things writing, working on manuscripts, and then finding things that are attached to writing. Thank you.
Listen, before we even go any further, I heard you said something that you write for the impaired.
In the fall, I was certified to become an audio describer. So when we have patrons that will come to, say, like Broadway shows, then they have a seat that usually allows them to sit a little bit closer because not everybody is completely without sight.
Yes.
But some of them can see figures and movement. But what I do is I give extra descriptions to fill in those spaces. So they may know who's coming in, what color the costume is, how big the set is, basically to fill in those details they wouldn't ordinarily get. So one of the things that I said I was excited about recently is I'll be doing my first live tour of the Mariners Museum, which is like an naval specialty museum in Newport News. So we'll be doing like a touch tour, and they'll get a chance to touch the items, and I'll be describing the items, and we'll be moving around so that they can experience the museum.
Wow. A little bit fuller. And when is that?
That will be next month. May 15th. May 15th. Yes. So I'll be posting a flyer about it probably in the next few days, just to remind people, because it's through Access Virginia.
Yeah.
So we're about creating accessibility as much as possible. So we have audio description, we have shows with open captioning. So somebody's actually typing out the words as they're being said.
This is amazing. Like, I love this. Like, my goodness, I love when I have to celebrate. So now you just keep on adding stuff for me to celebrate you.
Yeah, my thing is, I want to provide as much opportunity for people so that they have the options to participate. It's hard to make decisions or to basically, I want you to have as much information as possible, at least the option. If you want to participate in it, fine. If you don't, fine. But you don't have that choice if you don't have the accessibility to it.
And that by itself, honey, what pushed you to that place? What did you get inspired to do that?
Two main things, actually. Well, probably the third one. But my degree is in psychology with minor in counseling. So I've already worked in social services settings where I work with people that have different disabilities and disorders. So I've worked with people who are homicidal, suicidal, and I've worked with folks that have had various physical challenges, including a client that was visually impaired, hearing impaired, and speech impaired. So these were things that the challenges that I had to try to communicate, to find another way to get her to understand me and for me to understand her. So at the beginning of lockdown in 2020 or mid 2020, I had been participating with our performance theater. So the owner of the venue at that location, he's a director, and he's a puppeteer, and he's like a master of all things. A lot of different things going on. And I would read poetry, but I'd also read my stories for feedback. And he was saying that in addition to doing that, I may want to check out this organization, Access Virginia. At the time, they did not have any openings or trainings or anything. So it was a year before I saw it come up on Facebook for an ad. And I was like, I'm on it. I'm signing up, taking my class. And as soon as the opportunity was available, I went there. And I've been trying to get better at my craft. Sometimes I'll even watch shows with the audio caption on, just so I can improve on when to speak and what to share with people. So,
which is excellent. Like, oh my God, I'm just sitting there like, we just like this? Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna just like, can I come just go to that wherever you're having that? Like, I just need to be there. Like, this is so amazing.
It's been really, it's been a wonderful experience each time I've gone. Like I found it intimidating in a lot of ways, but then in one of the shows, I was close enough. Well, in two of the shows, I got a chance to interact with some of the patrons, and I either heard them because of where I was sitting, or I talked with them after the show. And some of them were crying, like crying, like, this is the first time I've been out in months. And I'm so glad I've gotten a chance to come out, because like, when a sense is suddenly taken from you, and then you're thinking that you don't have the ability to enjoy what you used to enjoy, and then when you go somewhere and somebody has gone out of their way to make sure that you're getting there safely, that you're comfortable, that you're understanding what's going on, and they're saying, you can still do this. Let me see if I can, I can't replace this sense, but let me try to fill in some of the details that you would know if that hadn't been lost.
Just to be there. I mean, just to be there with someone, just to show some form of support alone is enough. Like that, just like, listen, sis, I got you. Okay, let me help you cross the street, or let me just help you. Let me read something for you. That by itself is such an addition to that person's spirit.
Mhm.
Like if you just think about it, and just that by itself is compassion.
Yes. And I think the other thing is because the president and the primary person who trained me is blind. You know, she has a walking stick, and she you know, she runs the trainings and everything else. But it's a matter of helping people get their independence back. You know, because especially if you've been the one that has you know, you've done things for other people, you don't want to continually depend on other people, because, you know, you want to feel needed. You want to do the things that you used to be able to do. You want to, you know, there's still something going on in your life.
Yes.
So we want to normalize it as much as possible.
Mm. Honey, that's success by itself. that by itself is success, okay? That by itself is success. And with that says, let us roll right into the book.
Okay.
Yes.
Yay.
This right here says, this right here, because I see right there, you don't want. We are going to dissect this book here tonight.
All right.
We are going to dissect this. I'm going to go with the big word first. Success.
Yes.
So, because I see that you don't want, I see that up there, but we're going to go with the big word. The big word is success.
Mm-hmm.
How do you define success overall or for yourself?
I define it as meeting the goal that was set. For me, it's not about trying to do what other people do. And when I've asked other people what they consider successful or who they consider, you know, a lot of people want to go to billionaire status.
Yes,
and I'm like, do you need to reach billionaire status before you feel like you've accomplished anything in your life?
Right.
You know, like, how many billionaires do you know? You know, so you know, I'm trying to bring it back down to where those of us that are, you know, it's like middle class, you know, working class and everything else, you know, it's like, what is it going to take before we feel fulfilled?
Yes.
And how do you know you've reached, that you've hit success?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to define a goal. So when you know what that is and you don't miss it, then you know, okay, I still got to keep. I mean, like, if you missed it, you still got to keep going. If you hit it, then you've been successful. So, you know, all right, now we can set a new goal. Congratulations. You know, but the idea is you want to feel accomplished. You want to know that you're not just treading water. You are heading in the direction that you need to be heading to do what it is that you need to do. Whether that is, you know, creating the next app for social media, or, you know, getting your GED, whatever it is. You know, I'm gonna be proud of it. I mean, unless you're doing something illegal, then, you know,
no, we're not celebrating that.
I don't know you, but
I don't know you like that. I ain't celebrating.
Right, you know, it's like
nope.
But, you know, my thing is, I like to celebrate people's wins.
Yes. And the thing about celebrating wins, we wait for the big wins, but we don't want to celebrate the small wins. Like, please celebrate your small win. If today you get up and you're like, hey, I made an extra step today, you know, or I had a fruit today that I never had yesterday, then hey,
and it's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that, because I actually created a planner that went along with it to help do that. So, you know, I'm just going to throw this up here because we're talking about success. So, this is
that's the planner.
So yes, so it's a success bundle.
Oh.
Yeah. So what happened was, people were asking me how I kept meeting my goals.
Yes.
I put that together and I showed them. I said, we started big, decided what we're aiming for.
Yes.
You know, we gave ourselves a time limit, then we made them smaller and smaller and smaller, so that I only have to worry about doing a couple things a day,
Yes.
because if you do a couple strategic things a day, by the end of the year, even if you're only doing it 4 or 5 times a week, you're going to hit several
Something.
hundred goals.
Yes. 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 And that's the main thing. That's the main thing, audience. That's the main thing. When you set a goal, you have that intention. And if you said, okay, in the next 3 months, I intend, those are the key words that you got to use, right? Because when you use words, words are powerful. So you got to know how to put those words so they can manifest what you're going after. In the next week, I want to do this. In the next month, I want to do this. In the next day, I want to do this. Maybe in the next minute, the next hour, I want to do this. So when you set a time frame and you set that expectation for that time frame, go for it. Like in the next day, I want to lose 1 pound. Yeah, drop that. That's when you do that, it's more real. Realistic goals are important. So when you put yourself out there, it's like, oh, I need to accomplish that, and just like leave it floating. No.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
Yeah, that's not
Like
real.
and I actually put it in the book. Like someday, one day. I mean, I know it rhymes with Sunday and Monday, but that's out here.
That is not.
It's really out there, and it gives you, it allows you to excuse not having it done because you don't have a specific date, so you just keep pushing it farther and farther out. And you said, well, I didn't have a specific time, so it doesn't really matter if I didn't do this yet.
Procrastination and excuses, those are best friends.
Yes.
Excuse.
And that's why I attacked it in my my title, because I know that I've had people tell me that it was a negative title, and I said, They're like, yeah, because you either really don't want success,
or you do,
or you do and you want to know why I said you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yes, I do. What are you talking about? And the subtitle is Demolishing Excuses Used to Prevent You from Achieving Your Goals. So with that, what I'm doing is attacking some of the major excuses that we use to hold us back.
Yes.
Starting with myself. I haven't put out anything that I haven't gone through or internalized or worked through.
Yes.
So with that, I have hit on multiple subject areas. Each chapter is divided into 4 sections. Mm-hmm. The first is subject matter. Mm-hmm. The second is what I call a Miko moment. So I'm telling you what I did wrong.
Yeah, right.
What I did correctly to in applying that subject matter. The third is an interview with a professional. So I have interviewed 9 Black professionals that small business owners too, because these are all people that I have worked with at some point. So these are not people I just randomly talk to, like, hey, would you like to? No, I have used their services. I've watched them, most of them for several years.
Yes.
And so I've seen them put their stuff into practice. And these are people that, I respected for what they did. So I interviewed them so that they're giving their tips and suggestions. And then there's a 4th section, which is like a workbook. So you can start writing today on how to get what you need tomorrow. Yeah. And instead of putting the book in a workbook, I was like, let me combine it, because that's how I would want it. I do a lot of compressing time.
Yes.
Like, I'm the type of person that I don't want to get a book that's 400 pages long when you could have told me everything I need to know in 100. That's going to upset me. So when it'll tend to be short. I was like, I'm getting straight to the point. This is what we're going to talk about, So,
right.
Blame it on my short attention span or something. But, I feel like I'm going to give you what I would want to know.
Yes. But after a while, you're like, this is getting boring. Like, this is getting boring. I don't want to do this no more.
It feels too much like a textbook.
Yes.
Like, what is it that you want me to know? The rest of the time, I'll just listen to you. Just tell me to listen to a podcast or something. But like, I'm flipping through here. Out of 15 pages, you want me to know these 2 sentences. You could have put that in the tweet.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're gonna see me keep on doing this because I'm writing down some questions and I'm taking down my notes. And
Yes, all right.
my audience know this. Sheila, welcome, and Sharon, welcome back. They know what I do. That they're gonna see my head popping like a little doll here because I'm taking down notes and I'm
It's all right.
writing.
I do the same thing. Like sometimes I'll drive the kids to school, even with the daycare, even with my daycare kiddos. You know, the next thing they know, they're listening to a motivational speaker. I may have Jim Rohn up there, Les Brown. You know, it could be a little montage of motivational, like today we're going to listen to the fight, and like, and the next thing you know, you've got like all these boxing clips and like this Eye of the Tiger music in the background, and they're like, you know, just keep going, just wake up and keep going and keep going. And they're like, it's 7 something in the morning, and Miss Miko got me listening to keep going. It's like I
don't even wake up yet. Like I'm still sleeping. Like no, I'm still sleeping. Yeah, Sheila. Yeah, procrastination. See, procrastination rob you of what you need to accomplish. It's a robber. It's a robber. Do not be friends with procrastination. That is not a good friend to have. Okay, it's not a good friend to have. So Sheila, yeah, that will take you out.
There's a because I have that in one of my sections, because we talk about a lot of things in here, like other people's opinions, and one of them is perfectionism. But a lot of times with perfectionism, see, I'll just put this up here real quick like that. See, but with that is a lot of times we tend to use procrastination, but under perfectionism, we give it permission because we say we're studying and we got to get more information. And we keep doing that, and we could end up becoming a course junkie. And what we're actually doing is hiding behind not knowing enough or assuming that we don't have the information that we need to get something done. And by the time we finally have accumulated all of this, the person we're going to share it with is no longer interested. You know, because it's almost like we're afraid that if we don't have it just so, that we're going to be found out, that somebody's going to look at what we have and they're going to say, not only is there a flaw in your project, there's a flaw in you, because we internalize that as something being wrong with us if what we put out isn't perfect.
And we don't want to accept our flaws.
Right. And the problem is we will give other people the grace to say it's not perfect, but we won't give ourselves that grace.
And there's no such thing as being perfect. If you're perfect, then it's time for you to go home. That is how I look at it, because when you are so perfect, simply means there's nothing else to add on to you. So you cannot sit there and say, oh, I'm perfect.
That's people don't want to be around perfect people. Don't nobody want to be around perfect people.
I don't want to be around you if you're perfect, because guess what? I can't learn from you and you can't learn from me. So I need someone to be around me where we can learn from each other and we can grow together, because if you're perfect, guess what's going to happen? There's an imbalance. There's an imbalance because you're so perfect. And that perfectionism that you have simply means that you're saying to yourself that you're totally filled. You're filled and you're empty, because you're not. You're not filled. You're totally empty. And you keep on trying to find something else to add on to those areas that are void. To say, I'm perfect. Huh? No, sorry, wrong. So I don't want to be your friend.
But that would, like, I was listening to you and I was like, man, that would be so dull. Like, if you know it all and you still got another 40 years left here, you can be bored. Like, there is nothing left for you. Like, well,
what are you going to be doing?
Right. Yeah. Well,
because let's look at it. If
like I'm sitting, like I don't think I ever really sat there and thought about it, but I'm like,
okay, let that one sink in. Let it sink in. audience, you can let that sink into. I'm just saying, there's no such, yeah, exactly, Sheila. There's no such thing as perfection. It doesn't
Yes.
exist. It's a myth. I said it. This is what I'm trying to tell you. No, it is not a thing. It's an illusion. And you build up this thing as an illusion, and it's sitting there with you. And because you don't want to accept that, oh, I need help.
I think part of it is what we've allowed society to convince us. Like, and we look and we see these pictures like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. It's like, yes, how many selfies does she have to take for that picture to come out right? Like what kind of camera angle we got going on here? Like when I was in the modeling and talent agency, I would flip through pictures like cars. I'd flip, 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 flip. All right, we can use that. Flip, 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 flip. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff going on, but everything is so quick and short and staged that when we come out, we see either the stuff that isn't real or we'll see like a finished product, but we're not really seeing all the work that it takes to get there. So we feel like we don't measure up because we're not the image that we see, or we're not where we think we should be. And I keep trying to tell people, and it's something I have to remind myself too. This person has 2 years more experience than I do. I'm not going to have 2 years more experience until I get 2 more years of experience. So when I've done this for another 2 years, then I'll be where she is now.
And the whole thing is, every bean don't sprout at the same time. Let's get this. Every bean don't sprout at the same time. Every flower don't bloom at the same time. So therefore, we should stop this competition.
The biggest thing is that,
and that's the biggest
we can't compete with other people. And I have my little notes about that too. But the only person that you can actually
read her book. I can't
is yourself, because you're the only person that has had the experiences, education, and knowledge that you have. You don't know what other people know. You don't know what they've done. It is, you will always come up short when you compare yourself to what you think you should be having as somebody else, and you don't know what they know or where they've been. So if you compare yourself to you at all times and you are improved, then you can see what growth you've had, where you're going. And then now you can say, okay, I've fallen short because I should have been doing this for the past 5 months, but I can't get those 5 months back. But let me go ahead and take these steps to, try to catch up or get back on track. Rather, I may not be able to catch up, but let me get back on track and start from there and stop beating myself up and then just keep pressing on.
And that's how you love yourself. Otherwise, you don't love yourself. Otherwise, what you're doing, you're going with a mask. Imposter syndrome. So now, what is the difference between success and achieving your goals?
I like to think of success as something like a bigger goal, and the goals themselves are smaller steps to reach where I'm going. So like one of the examples, it started with an E, So one of the examples that I use for the planner is becoming a childcare provider, a licensed childcare provider. So say that's your big goal, that you're gonna, have a licensed facility in like 10 months for a specific state. So that is your end goal.
Right.
But you must take multiple steps to get there. You need to know what your licensing requirements are, what kind of space you have, how many children you can have, go to orientation, get fire inspection, have your home inspections. You have your pre-licensing. Like there are like multiple trainings that you may have to take. So these are all small goals that must be met in order to get to the part where you have a licensed facility within that time frame.
So requirements. Audience requirements. Okay. Do you personally want success?
Oh, I thought you were asking the audience. I was like,
No, you.
I was like, yes. The things that I want at different times aren't necessarily what other people think of or would consider
Yeah.
successful. Uh, just because I guess I've always been like that round peg in a square hole or something. Like just they're like, hey, we're doing this. And I'm like, I want my children to know Christ.
Right.
And I
Right.
need them to understand that I can't give them their next breath.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
at the end of the day, that is my biggest thing. And then when I'm like when I interact with other people and stuff happens, like those are things that I think about. Like, did they know the gospel? Did they know this? Who was there? I'm not necessarily going out like, oh, these songs, I'm like, what made them do what they do? What made them like those are when I'm working with my little daycare kiddos, like my little preschoolers, and they're matching puzzle pieces. And they're like, I did it, Miss Miko. I'm like, yes, you did, baby. Success. I like to help other people reach their goals.
Yes.
Like right now, with revisions, I'm helping other people put their books out. We've got another set of authors that are publishing in the next month. I met them about 4.5 months ago. And some of them were like, I don't know if I could do it. It was just, they were worried about what they were writing. And I was like, all right, read, let's go. Let's concentrate on this. Let's concentrate on this. They're like, oh, okay. And now they're about to put stuff out. One is speaking at her alma mater. And, I'm excited. They just got their book covers. They see the whole thing. And
Wow.
I'm like, yay. I'm like, that was my position. But when I'm in those spots, wherever I'm working, I want to, support the mission.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to go away knowing that, yes, I worked with you. I didn't just say, all right, here's the bare minimum you need, just like when I was working with those who were disabled. I had a client that didn't speak.
Yes.
But on his individualized service plan, he had things that he was supposed to practice. So, when I heard him say a word for like the first time, after I've been there for like 2 months, and I was told that he had never spoken, I was super excited. And they were like, well, how'd you get him to put clothes in the washing machine? They're like, I walked with him and physically was like, showed him what to do. And I waited,
Yes.
it was like, he put a couple pieces in, and then that was the thing for that day. Then we got a little bit farther, like, you're not going to hit those goals until you try the scary thing.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And work with somebody who is going to be kind enough to give you the steps to get there.
You always need someone, no matter what happened. And the thing is, we think that we can achieve success by ourselves. No. No, 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 no. Success is you and I, is us working together. No one person can achieve success by themselves. No way, no how. I did this before, where you look at the word success. It starts with SU, but if you flip it around, the first two letters are US, us. Simply means you need more than one person. I need you in the areas where I am weak. You need me in the area that you're weak. We are not, and this is where we go back to the word perfect. There's no such thing as perfectionist. None.
Yeah, and then when you reach where you're going, you want to celebrate with people. You want to celebrate with people who are celebrating you.
So how am I going to celebrate the perfectionist?
Be at the mountain by yourself.
Okay. I'm like, no. The audience, if you do have questions, please jot them in the comment section. We are going to roll into some more questions here. So, what are some of the fears that we use to block our from achieving our goals or becoming successful?
I discuss things like being afraid to step into a leadership position.
Mm.
Um, like there's one thing to play the background. I don't mind doing support, but you also have to be able to lead if called upon. If
Yes.
if that if that is required at some point, then you need to know how to fill that space. It could be fear of money, not knowing how to spend what you have, how
Mm-hmm.
to use it properly. I have a financial executive representative, I think that's what he's called, that speaks on that. He
Yes.
offers, I think, free consultations also. I talk about other people's opinions. Other people's opinions, or, you know what, I think a lot of times it's not necessarily what other people say, it's what we think they might say
Right.
that holds us
Right.
back. So it's actually our imagination that is preventing us from doing something because we think something will happen. So we're actually scared of something that hasn't happened. We talked about perfection. There are times that you have to do stuff without support. Sometimes people confuse support with somebody giving you what you think they should give you for your business. So
Hello.
say you're a plumber, or you sell some type of appliance. Like, I don't need 4 toilets if I only have 2 bathrooms. So the fact that I didn't buy 2 additional toilets from you doesn't say I don't support you. I just
Yes.
don't need your product.
Right. Right.
So don't take it personally.
Right.
Um, it could be your fear of your past, whereas you could be a prior, what I call an alpha. So you could have had success, big success in the past, and now you're afraid you won't measure up to what you did once. You could have failed, and I don't really call it a failure because everything, you can learn from everything. But
Yeah.
let's say you call it a failure. You failed at something in the past. Now you're afraid you're going to do that again. Or you were the person that everybody came to. You were fine at one point. Like, you were independent, you
Mm-hmm.
were financially set, your
Mm-hmm.
bills were paid, everything was on, and then the rug got pulled out from underneath you. And
Mm-hmm.
that was through no fault of your own.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been you lost your job due to COVID, and now everything is all out of whack. So it's addressing fears like that. Like, you're afraid of your past and not measuring up to that. Having to be a trailblazer, where you're either having to do something and you're the first, you have to create your own space, or you don't, like, you realize that maybe you're a lion tamer, and you're working at Red Robin, the burger joint, and you are a great waitress, but you really, really, really want to be a lion tamer. Okay, they're
Right.
not going to let you bring a lion in there while people are eating their food. You are
Right.
really going to have to go somewhere else to exercise your talent. So
Yes. Yes.
it's knowing when to step out and do something else. The fear of letting go of the people who knew you back when. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I call them dead weight. Or knowing
Beautiful
when
people.
something or someone is
Yes.
holding you down,
Yes.
and they may not even be doing it on purpose,
Yes.
but you feel obligated
Yes.
because they held me down when I was in 7th grade and I was being picked on. Like, since you're 25 now, okay? Ain't nobody think about what happened in 7th grade at this point.
Hello.
Like, if you need a secretary and or somebody else to help you in your consulting business, and Pookie over here sitting up sucking up your payroll, not doing her job, you can't hire this person that you need over here because you spending money over here. You're gonna have to let her go, or you're gonna have to be you're going to have to accept the fact that you row on a boat and she's the hole in your boat. So you rowing and you getting rid of water and you rowing and you going to struggle.
You're going to sink. Listen, I call those the used to tenants. The used to tenants, because see, the used to tenants was what I used to do, or what you knew about me when I used to do that. But guess what? Those used to tenants don't live here anymore. Mm-hmm. They don't live here. They got evicted. They don't live here. So used to people, used to situation, they're not a part of your company at this point. Because at age 5, you did this, and you used to do that 8, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and now you're 35, and it's like, oh yeah, but you used to do that. I don't know that.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you for bringing that.
What's that got to do with now?
I'm not there. I'm not there anymore.
But, so it's just it's like those things that I kind of go into more detail about, the example, and then I bring in somebody else that is like a little bit stronger on it.
Yeah.
And most of the people that I've interviewed have provided their contact information. They've left their contact information in case somebody wants to follow up with them on their services. So, you may only like one chapter. You may not like, but you may like what this person has to say on this. Like you may want to follow up with that financial representative and get an investment plan. You may want to follow the human resources person and, get her nuggets on how to present yourself at a job interview.
Yes. So again, audience, if you're just tuning in, this is the book we are talking about. You don't want success. Demolishing excuses used to prevent you from achieving your goals. That's the book. Miko, where can they get that book?
It's available on most e-retailers. Right now, the paper book is only available on Amazon. But if you want the ebook and you're willing to make notes in your Kindle or your ebook place or just write it down, then you can get them at Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart. You can order the ebook pretty much anywhere that you can get online. In fact, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where else, but I think that's about it.
Okay. and later on, we are going to drop the link in. We're going to drop the link in so you can go right on and you can click the link and then you can support Miko's work. Please and thanks. Thank you.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
The bigger thing is this actually took me the longest time to write from start to finish. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it was a challenge to me, but I put things out there because I believe that somebody else needs it. I don't know how many people need it. I can't make you want or need something that you don't want or need. Yes. But I do believe that most of us who have something that we're trying to get to, but there's that internal barrier, that you will find something in here that will resonate with you. Mm. And you can work through it. Because like I said, I put pages in here. Mm-hmm. Like here. You can write
your own thing.
So it's not separate. Right. I have some of the people that are interviewed, as you can see, contact information, interview style. So it's where it is. And I don't really hold, I don't really hold back. It's like, I'm nice. I had to, because this is really how I talk with my friends. I had to give myself these talks. And to be honest with you, I read through it at least every 4 to 6 weeks. If there's something that's challenging me, let me go back and give myself a pep talk. Let me go back and give myself a pep talk. That's right. I already know.
You got to call for reference.
I'm like, if I go ahead and I know up front that I can't please everybody, then I don't have to lose more time worried about not pleasing everybody.
And then, and that goes back to the same word we're using, perfectionist. You cannot please everybody. You cannot love everybody, and everybody will not try to please you, and everybody will not love you. So let's get
And
that.
a lot of times these are hard to wrap your own head around because, you have to internalize it. You have to bring it in, understand it, and accept it. You remember, because these are graces that you're willing to give other people. But sometimes you have to hear it or read it to know that you have that same grace,
Yeah,
or
let
that
the
you
reality
need to
kick
give
in.
yourself that same grace.
Yes, yes, and the more you hear it or the more you read it, is the more real it will become. It's like, oh yeah, somebody said this when I was that. Somebody said that. Yeah, but that's not the point. You got to keep on feeding your soul and keep on feeding your spirit these things, because for you to keep on feeding something, when the more you feed something, is the more it will grow. So if you don't feed your spirit cannot grow. Your spirit cannot expand. Your goals cannot expand, because if you set yourself to achieve something and you don't feed that intent, you're not heading nowhere.
I just want to clarify real quick, because the difference between the book and the planner.
Yes.
Because the book is, we're going to base this one, we're basically going to deal with your fears. We're going to deal with things that are eating at you.
Yes.
And with the planner, what we're going to do is, I still have nuggets in here. What I did was I even have a place where you can write out your own commitment to your success. And I do a step-by-step thing where it's like, okay, let's figure out what it is that you want. Let's talk about preparing. We're going to do your defining. And I know it's like, I'm holding this up like you can see this, but
I can see it, but I can't see the exact
when I get planners, it used to frustrate me, because I'm like, I have this planner and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to use it. So I set it so that it doesn't have a date, so you can start whenever it is. Because a lot of times
I love
get inspired like April and May, and I'd be mad that I lost 5 months. So
those are the kind of planner I have too.
You set your time and it's ready when you are.
Yes.
But what it is that is dealing. The book is dealing with the heart issue of, okay, I'm ready to go. I can do this. The planner is, all right, now I have a goal. There's something I want to do. We're going to focus. We're going to target in on this. And now we're going to break this down into small steps so that I can achieve this without stressing myself. Because one of the things we have a tendency to do is work and work and work and work. Like, easily I'll work 80 to 110 hours a week, because a lot of times I have 3 jobs at a time, but the whole purpose of working and, grinding that hard is so you can relax. So I was like, okay, how much of this time am I spending checking my email and doing all these other things that are really like time sucks, So I was like, if I just focus now and I just make sure I hit these primary goals, then I can get this many books written. I can get this many people to their copy editing. I can get this done, this done, this done, So that is meant to bring everything down into manageable chunks that now you have time to actually relax on your day off.
Ooh, I don't told you we drop some stuff up in here. I don't tell you this is what we do on the show. We drop some stuff up in here. Sister got it going on. Okay, you got it going on up in here. Listen, so somewhere we are going to roll. We're going to roll into this. For those, I think you mentioned this somewhere in the book about the faith, our Christian faith.
Yes.
All right. So for those of us in the Christian faith, I don't believe they stress it enough of how to achieve your goals or be successful outside of the church. Can you touch on that?
That one
related to that you have there? Do you have a scripture? Do you have a verse, a chapter that says the Bible says?
Yes,
something?
That's actually the final topical chapter.
Okay.
So that one is dedicated to believers.
Yes.
So I've touched on what we consider worldly success.
Yes.
What I had been debating on for a couple years was the parable of the talents, the parable of the pounds. And I checked with several people, theologians, people that have their masters in divinity. I'm like, am I on the right path? Because my biggest thing is, I mentioned earlier that I want people to know the gospel. And because I tend to see things through a biblical lens, a biblical worldview, a lot of times, it is painful actually for me to deal with that much on that topic and then not bring in what God would consider successful for his children. So what I do is I address those from how we see it in the natural and what we see in the spiritual, and dealing with how we should handle, because I want to have a gospel center, not a man-centered thing. So that was very tricky, but how understanding that we can still represent Christ wherever we are, and how we can do that, what our job is here, and just expectations of us here, and then to be able to hear those words, well done, thy good and faithful servant. That is what we want, because ultimately as Christians, it's not going to matter if I made this much, if all these people loved me, if I've done all these things that measure success in the world's view, if at the end of my life Jesus says, depart from me,
I don't know.
Iniquity. I know, right? I'm like, if I am claiming him as my savior, if I am saying this is what I believe, and I'm saying he is Lord and Savior, then at some point I need to be striving to do as he asked, the same way I am trying to, for the people that I work with out here.
Right, because the world and the church are two different sections. So we're not trying to be successful in the world, and the church is, well, for me, I'm trying to say the church is not enforcing that enough to say that you need to be successful. The biblical part is there, but they're not enforcing that to say your goals. You need to achieve your goals. Your goal is not only to study the Bible. Your goal is not only to know that Christ exists, but we were born to achieve a certain goals and a certain purpose. And I don't think they're enforcing that enough to say, go after your goals. Like
there's a lot of there's a lot of worldly ideas that are now ingrained, that are being taught. But the biggest thing is, when I think about it, at the end of the day, is the gospel was free for me. I'm not going to charge you to get it. I'm like, my goal is to give you and to tell you, or to at least give you the Bible so that you can see this one. I can help explain what this means. I can't make you do. I'm not the Holy Spirit. I can't convict you. That's not my job. It's not my job to convict you. But I also don't want to hinder that either. I don't want to hinder the gospel. I don't want to make it any harder. I don't want to add restrictions where there are none. I don't want to sit up here and make up a Jesus so that it makes you happy. I'm like, this is what the Bible says. This is what it is. This is what, there you go.
Yes.
They're like, I don't like it. Okay.
Everybody got a choice.
Like this. I don't have to defend God.
No.
I explain my belief, but God can defend
what you believe.
God can and will. He'll speak up for himself.
Listen, at the end of the day, you got to stand in your belief for you. At the end of the day, it's like, we're just gonna stand individually and collectively sometime, but sometimes you have to know how to stand on your individual ground, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Stand on your individual account. Like, nope, I know God for myself. Yep, let it stay just like that. So, audience, here we are going to wind down Let us know your social media, how we can follow you, how we can celebrate you on the upcoming things that you are doing. You know, maybe if we're in the area, we can come on to your event. Let us know where we can follow you.
Okay. Website is mikomarsh.com. Keep coming back because I'm supposed to be putting up a little free link at some point, but I haven't done it yet. So check it out. Mikomarsh.com.
Yeah.
You can email me at info@mikomarsh.com. M as in Mary, IKO, M as in Mary, AR, S as in Sam, H. I can also be found on Facebook and Instagram at Miko Moments. So
you can listen, people. You can't miss her. You type in Miko, you're going to see this lovely lady right here. Yes. So here we go as we wind down this episode. One last question rolling out here.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you expect your readers to gather from the book?
I think my readers will come away if they are looking internally. That's what a lot of what I do is a lot of self-reflection, self-transformation. If they are being honest with themselves,
yes,
and looking into this, I think that they will find a strength in themselves. They will discover, okay, this has been a weakness. Let me figure out why. Let me write down what it is that is problematic, and then, address that.
Excellent.
And that's how we grow. It's hard ones.
Yes. Yes. So, audience, here you go. Here it goes. I mean, tonight's episode. See, I love Thursday. I love when we do this. I love when we share space and share win-wins, whether they're big or small. I love win-wins. I love to celebrate you. I love to celebrate what you're doing. I love to stand in support of what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you're growing. See, when you deposit in something or someone for them to grow, plant or human beings, you have to deposit something. You have to pour in something in that thing or that person for it to grow. A plant can't just grow because it's in the soil. You got to till the soil. You got to put in some water. You got to give some plant food. You got to even talk to it so it could grow. And it's the same thing as us human beings. For us to grow, we need someone to pour into us. We need someone to pour into us. And as we get poured into, let us remember, we need to pour back into somebody else. Because again, to be successful, no one person can do it by themselves. We need each other. So as we wind down this episode, I'd like to tell my guests that to my left, there is a chair. It's called the guest chair. Now that you graced us with your presence, I am letting you know that you are a part of the family. Your name is stamped onto this chair, that anything that you are doing, I would like to celebrate you. And if I can support you in any way, yes, I will jump on board and I will support you in any way, form, or shape. So this chair is yours. This chair is saying that you're welcome back here any single time that you feel you need to come back. Just knock. It's like coming home. And I will tell you, welcome home. This is home for you. Feel comfortable to come back and say, hey, I'm here. Whether you're coming back as a guest or whether you're coming as an audience, you are very much welcome here. So again, I want to give my thanks to you. I want to just celebrate you in such a way. I celebrate you not from my lips, but from my heart. And as I send you off, before I send you off, I like to declare peace and blessing on you and your space and wherever you trod. And for those who surround you, may they bring you positivity and positive energy and allow you to grow in such a way that your success is big. And when it becomes big enough for you to share with others. We don't live in a selfish spirit. We don't come from a selfish spirit. We are child and children of God. And when we do such, we are doing it representing God. So let us learn how to live and to love in peace. So I present to you love and peace and prosperity. Why? Because you're a child of God. And every last one of us that's breathing is a child of God, and we all deserve that. So before I go, there's always an off question. It has nothing to do with your lovely book or your work. It's just an off question, like, I just throw it out there.
Okay.
So, are you ready for your off question?
No, but we'll go anyway. Like, we'll do it anyway.
All right, let's see what I'm going to ask you today.
You're pulling it out of a hat.
Dun, 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 dun.
This could be anything.
It could be anything. Exactly. That's an off question. Anything. So, your question would be, what's your earliest childhood memory? That's it. All the way back.
Trying to figure out which one is I was younger. One I like, but it might not put the person in such a good light. So and she's not here to defend herself, so I don't want to say that one.
Look, it's yours. It's your childhood.
I know, and I love her, but yeah, I ain't gonna throw her under the bus like that. Most of mine just they refer back to me spending time with my grandma, or yeah, I'll say my brother. Yeah, so it goes back to sitting in the living room, either like with my parents and rolling in the furniture, or sitting and trying to show that I'm tall enough to touch something. So I was my grandma's shadow.
All right. Grandma is always a thing. Grandma is the blankets, Grandma is like, hey, come when your mama say no, come to grandma. Yeah. So grandmas are listening people. If you had that grandma moment, it's like, ooh, you were missing out. Like grandma was the one that's gonna give you the extra piece of meat or the extra something. Yeah, extra warmth and extra love. So yes. So again, that's that. Audience, thank you so much, Sheila and Cheryl. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of the Question Live Show. This is where I tell you, bring your story, bring your work, bring your work in progress. When you bring your work in progress, this is where we work together. Why? So we can create, so we can build, so we can grow, but most of all, so we can support and succeed together. This is the place for you. So if you have either one of those, whatever it is that you have, come on in. This is the Question Live Show with your host, as I say. Thank you so much for being here tonight on another episode. I hope to see you next week, same time, same place, as we ask our dear guest if she got a final word for you. Do you have a final word?
I wish you much success. Like I really do. Like blessings.
Thank you. I think I'm successful already. I find myself so at that place already, just to be here with hearing stories like this every Thursday. I consider that my success. I consider that my success story when I have to show up as your host every Thursday. I don't take it for granted. This is my success story. I think I should write about that. Yeah, but this is success for me. Yeah. So again, audience, we want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for showing up as we look forward to see you right here, same time, same place, next week, Thursday. Peace and love to each and every one of you. YouTube land, of course, same blessing goes for you since we can't see you over there. Night, night, good morning, good day, good luck.